Welcome to This Explainer. I am so excited to have you here because today we are unpacking what is literally one of the most tectonic shifts in modern tech history. We're talking about a moment from WWDC 2026 that completely blindsided the industry. Look, for years, Apple has sold us on the magic of their famous walled garden, right? This idea that they, and only they, build every single brick of their ecosystem from the ground up. Well, with this latest event, that illusion just totally shattered. Apple has officially dropped its guard, and today we're going to explore exactly how and why they made this incredible pivot.
Okay, let's dive right into this, because this quote really hits the nail on the head. In the AI era, time is more valuable than pride. It perfectly encapsulates the shocking reality of Apple's decision. I mean, for a company that is absolutely defined by tight, almost obsessive control over its technology, partnering with their biggest rival, Google, seems unthinkable. But as we're going to see today, this isn't a sign of weakness at all. Actually, it's arguably the most pragmatic business move in Apple's entire history. They realize that in this relentless, super-fast race of artificial intelligence, catching up takes time. And time, that is the one luxury they simply couldn't afford over pride.
So, here's our roadmap for today's explainer. We'll be covering the unexpected partnership, Google's engine, the new Siri AI, protection of personal data, the delay in Europe, and finally, the deal of the decade. Let's get to it.
Part 1. The unexpected partnership, or shattering the walled garden. You know, the sheer surprise of Apple actually formally confirming a multi-year partnership with Google was hands down the absolute highlight of WWDC 2026. Basically, Apple evaluated the entire AI market and came to a pretty sobering conclusion. Google's Gemini just provides the most capable foundation available right now, and historically, as we all know, Apple prefers to develop its key tech entirely in-house. But instead of spending, say, 3 long years trying to catch up to the massive foundation models already built by Google and OpenAI, Apple made a highly pragmatic choice. They officially confirmed that their next-generation Apple Foundation models are going to be heavily based on Gemini and Google's cloud infrastructure.
Moving on to Section 2, Google's engine and buying speed over control. This brilliantly illustrates where Apple's strategy really shifts from building a whole platform from scratch to just launching a fantastic product. Think of it like this. Apple decided to buy the engine so they could build their own custom car around it. They definitely aren't giving up control of the user experience, they're just buying speed. All the magic of Apple Intelligence, that seamless integration, the beautiful interface, the incredibly tight hardware synergy, all of that remains entirely Apple's. But the heavy lifting, the raw computational muscle running under the hood, well, those now belong to Google.
All right, Section 3, the new Siri AI, going from a voice assistant to a personal agent.
Let's move to the micro level and see how this actually builds into the daily user experience in iOS 27. Because if you're sitting there expecting just another minor Siri update, think again. This is a complete, top-to-bottom rethinking of the digital assistant. Old Siri was, let's be honest, at its best, a basic voice search tool or a glorified egg timer. But the new Siri AI, powered by this new infrastructure, is a deeply context-aware, autonomous agent. It finally delivers on a promise we have been waiting for years.
And it all comes down to personal context. Imagine a Siri that actually understands the flow of your digital life. Step 1, it can read your emails and messages. Step 2, it looks at your photos. Step 3, it actively understands what is currently open on your screen right in front of you. And Step 4, it can actually take actions between different apps. So you could ask for an address someone texted you weeks ago, or request a specific photo just by describing it, or even have Siri analyze whatever you're looking at on your screen and act on it. This is the exact moment AI stops just being a simple chatbot and becomes a true agent. It's working for you instead of you having to work for it.
Beyond just being wildly smarter, the tangible, everyday upgrades to Siri AI are massive. For the very first time, Siri gets a dedicated chat interface, kind of like ChatGPT or Claude. And these conversations will seamlessly sync via iCloud across your entire Apple hardware lineup, so you can start a prompt on your iPhone on the train and finish it later on your Mac or your Vision Pro. The voice itself is also significantly more natural and expressive now, complete with customizable pacing and intonation. Plus, for all the developers out there, Apple is introducing the Foundation Models framework, which allows them to plug their own apps directly into this powerful new intelligence.
Which brings us to Section 4, protection of personal data and Apple's digital fortress.
Now, what's really interesting here is how they address the ultimate consumer fear. It's obvious, right? If Google's technology is running the show, what on earth happens to my privacy?
Well, Apple engineered around that exact fear by maintaining their legendary digital fortress. The vast majority of processing stays entirely local, right on your device, where your data literally never leaves. For the heavier, more complex tasks, Apple uses its private cloud compute. This is a highly secure Apple-owned cloud infrastructure that explicitly does not store your queries and does not build a profile on you. And the absolute most critical component? Google training. Apple has strictly guaranteed that absolutely zero personal user data will ever be sent to Google to train their Gemini models. So Apple is giving you powerful AI. But crucially, they are giving you AI that doesn't spy on you.
Section 5. The delay in Europe, dealing with regulatory roadblocks.
So there is a catch. While users around the rest of the world will get to test out these incredible Siri AI and iOS 27 features later this year, users in the European Union are unfortunately going to have to wait. This is entirely due to the Digital Markets Act, or the DMA. Basically, this EU legislation requires specific, systemic changes to how deeply AI and external services can be integrated into operating systems, just to ensure fair competition. Because of these requirements, Apple confirmed that Siri AI and Apple Intelligence will face a temporary delay in the EU while they work closely with European regulators to ensure full compliance. It's really just a direct cause and effect of the current regulatory environment over there.
Finally, Section 6, the deal of the decade. Who really wins?
When the dust finally settles on WWDC 2026, we really have to zoom out and look at the macro picture. I want you to let this number sink in for a second. 2.5 billion. That is the number of active Apple devices globally. That's enough screens to reach a third of the planet. For Google, this partnership is an absolute triumph. While Gemini was already powering Android, Google just gained backdoor access to put their core AI technology into 2.5 billion Apple devices. That is a level of reach and ecosystem integration that, frankly, seemed entirely impossible just a few short years ago.
So the crucial point we need to take away is this. Both companies walk away with a massive, massive win. Looking at the final tally, Apple didn't admit defeat here. Actually, scratch that. They just chose not to spend years building a whole new city from scratch when a perfectly good state-of-the-art infrastructure already existed right next door. By beautifully wrapping Google's engine in Apple's strict privacy and signature user experience, Apple just positioned itself as the ultimate interface for the AI era. Meanwhile, Google secures a grip on the mobile market that is utterly unprecedented. Honestly, it is just brilliant, pragmatic business from both sides. But it does leave us with one massive, lingering thought to close out this explainer. Apple has spent well over a decade training its users to trust only Apple. Now, for the very first time, the walls are down. So the question is Apple's ecosystem truly ready to accept a foreign brain under its hood? It's a fascinating pivot, and it is absolutely going to change how we interact with our devices forever. Thank you so much for joining me to explore this incredible shift, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.